If you know, you know. If you're an MMA fan, you appreciate Jacare so much, which makes what Andre did last night even that much more spectacular. What's up, Barnhill family? Welcome back to the channel.
Yo.
My goodness, Nick. Andre Muniz. If you didn't know him before last night, you certainly know him now.
Yeah.
The snap heard around the world. The first, when you think of legends in MMA as far as jiu-jitsu competitors before their MMA career, you think of Damian Maia, Jacare Souza,
Fabricio
Verdum. And it is really kind of, those are the three, right? Those are the three guys. If you're a Mount Rushmore of jiu-jitsu guys that came over to MMA, those three faces are certainly on it. Jacare, he's what more can you say about the guy? He's a legend of the sport. When he walked out last night doing the classic alligator, maneuver.
The walk into the cage.
Unbelievable. He got the second loudest roar of anybody last night, second only to Tony El Kukui Ferguson. Besides that, when Jacare came out, the arena wasn't even 100% full at that point because it was still the main event of the prelims, but the roar was deafening. If you know, you know. If you're an MMA fan, you appreciate Jacare so much, which makes what Andre did last night even that much more spectacular. He finished the alligator with a submission.
Yeah, that was really insane. And it kind of feels like a changing of the guard is happening in the UFC.
Yeah.
Every weekend we're seeing a legend kind of take a fall to a really good up-and-comer. And Andre Muniz is certainly the one that took the spot from Jacare Souza. To be able to compete against a legend like that is probably really something special. Going into the X's and O's of the fight, I saw Muniz walk in the cage, and I was like, man, he looks a little undersized compared to Jacare. Jacare's a big guy. I was like a little worried for him because I didn't know much about Muniz going into this. I knew he was a tough guy, but I was like, oh, but so is Jacare,
Sure.
And as a matter of fact, he's so tough that he's been had his arm broken by one of the Gracies one time. I can't remember which Gracie it was. Arm broken, and then didn't tap to it, tucked it into his gi, and continued to fight the grappling match. So you're not dealing with anybody tougher than Jacare Souza. Unfortunately, there was no belt to tuck the broken arm into last night, and it was pretty devastating to hear it happen. It was pretty insane, and Muniz should be very happy, but you have to give credit to the champ or to the legend of the sport, and he probably wouldn't have the jiu-jitsu skills that he has if it weren't for Jacare Souza.
And he said as much in the post-fight interview. He said, look, I idolize this guy. There's about a 10-year age difference between them. He's in his early 40s, or Jacare's in his early 40s. Andre's in his early 30s. Yeah. He said, this guy is a legend of Brazil. This guy is one of the reasons I started training jiu-jitsu. He's just that good. And I don't know if you saw on camera last night what they showed on TV, but after that fight was over, during the interview, they got Jacare out. Obviously, he had to go to the hospital and get his arm reset.
Right.
He stopped on his way out and took pictures with every fan that asked for a picture along the walkway on the way out with a gimp arm.
Yeah.
They don't make people that tough anymore. No. The guy's got an arm hanging off the side of his body that's detached at this point from the elbow down. Yeah. And he's taking selfies with the crowd. It's just that's what makes this sport just the best sport in the world.
Yeah. And
people from everywhere competing, representing their country, representing their martial arts and their backgrounds, and just doing so and showing amazing heart in the process.
Yeah, and he lost the fight to a guy, and that's gotta suck in the moment. And he's hugging, smiling, and congratulating him with his arm just hanging next to his body. You can't make your arm go as limp as Jacare's was if you tried.
Yeah.
And it made me think about something. Obviously, MMA is a pretty brutal sport. There are, dire consequences, and people get hurt in this sport. And, some of the short-term effects aren't as bad as some of the long-term effects. And it is, all in all, just a brutal sport. But as of late, it almost feels like there is a catastrophic, horrible injury on every card.
Yeah.
Think about the Weidman accident, kicking Uriah Hall's leg.
And the fight right before that. I'm drawing a blank on it right now. But what fight was that?
God, now I'm going to draw the same blank. But the guy whose ACL got Anthony Lionheart Smith.
That's right. He fought Anthony. Yeah,
he fought.
Guys, let us know in the comments. We're drawing a blank here.
He's that tough dude from England.
Yeah.
Jimmy Crute. That's it. His leg goes out. Weidman's leg, and now you've got Jacare Souza's arm breaking. We see Shane Burgos have a delayed response with his brain. Tony Ferguson every time now is getting something broken.
Getting submitted and not tapping.
Yeah, so it kind of feels like, ever since maybe Sean O'Malley got that leg thing happen to him, crazy injuries have been happening in the UFC almost every card, and it's kind of weird, but it's also kind of helping me get a tougher stomach to watching these sorts of things happen. But I feel really bad for Jacare because I love Jacare. He's a legend, but it's kind of time for the new era, and they're taking over.
Yeah, and I mean, to submit Jacare, I mean, the guy was emotional, and rightfully so. Yeah. I mean, how can you not be after an amazing accomplishment like that's like submitting one of the Gracies? You know what I mean? It's truly incredible. And now this guy Muniz is got 14 submission victories. He's on a 7-fight win streak. Won all of his fights in the UFC. This guy's a real contender now. This guy's a big problem.
Yeah, I think we're going to be hearing his name a lot more. That was his statement victory. I think moving forward, we're going to have to see him fight with other big names of the sport, not just, legends, but I want to see him in there with the top of his division, because he's clearly shown that he is dangerous and will absolutely send some legends, top contenders, and some of the people that can defend themselves better than anybody else on this planet straight to the hospital and unable to defend themselves. So I'm excited to see what's happening next with this guy. He seems to be incredibly athletic specimen. And, he had to seize the moment. He had to take this biggest fight of his career and just make it the most of it. Obviously, it sucks to take one of your superheroes out, but you also have to do that. It's the fight business. It's the hurt business. And he had a job to do. He went out and did it. So he should be very proud of himself. Jacare Souza obviously should be proud of the career he's had, and hopefully he heals up quickly. I'd still love to see him compete because I don't think he's done yet. He looked good for as long as the fight lasted, but you can't help but feel bad for the alligator.
He's owed a fight to ride out into the sunset in Brazil when Brazil opens back up, for sure.
Without a doubt.
And if the roars were that loud in Houston, Texas last night, I can only imagine how loud they'd be in Brazil.
Yeah, and hopefully somebody starts putting together a Legends League of Brazilians and other great grapplers. We can see those guys just do submission grappling all year round, because I would watch every one of those cards.
Oh, me too. Well, guys, Andre Muniz said before the fight he thought he had a grappling advantage against Jacare. Most of us laughed it off. We're not laughing now. Let us know in the comments what you thought about his incredible performance. And as always, if you've enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And check us out on audio where you listen to those audio podcasts, guys. Have a great day.
Peace.